So a lot of people ask me, why don't I just use a ready-made or something? Why isn't it just a weed, or why isn't it just real meat or something like that? But aside from the obvious reasons that it can't exist that way for very long, it needs to be a representation. Like, there's a lot of talk about simulacrum, right? And you guys all know about this, but I really do believe that it needs to be that third thing. It can't be the real thing. It can't be a copy of that thing. It has to be the third thing. You know, like there is power in representation, and in doing that, you generate a new thing unto itself. You generate the third thing. This show incorporates three kind of bodies of work. The first one is the mirrors, which I've been doing for a few years, and continue to captivate my interest. And I think there's still a lot of room to grow with that series of works. So it's the mirrors, it's the rope sculptures, which are quite new, and I'm still getting used to making them. I'm still getting used to incorporating them within the body of work. And then there's the inverted arrangement, which is I would categorize as I would put them in the rope category. So it's that. So those sculptural works, and the most recent pieces, which are the wall rubbings, which is this one and the large canvas out there. And what I like about these pieces is that in the continuum of my work is that these are super quiet pieces in a way. That's different from a lot of the earlier work, which was had the volume of them was turned up quite a bit.
In some ways, they're like less imaginative, I guess, but maybe trying to I don't know. I guess recreate something that's kind of not very interesting, but you still end up with a really interesting object that you're very curious about, maybe in the same way that all the sculptures that had a lot of fantasy and kind of magic to them have too.
With the mirrors, all you get are traces of a human presence. So you get the evidence of a subject, but you get no subject. So I think that has come to characterize a lot of the newer works, is this kind of not just an abstraction of the ideas and a pulling back in tone and volume, but also a removal of a kind of narrative impulse and a removal of a subject itself.
I'm usually not like somebody that's impressed by like detail or like hyper detail at all. And Tony's pieces are an exception to that. The presentation of them and how it's easy to pass over them, they're like objectified in a sense that makes them easily passed over and not sensed as artwork. But after like dealing with them again, with Tony's like sense of like detail and working, it's something that you begin to like appreciate and understand or hope to understand and respect the like fragility and again like the detail of those pieces.
I for a long time wanted no mediation whatsoever. I wanted it just to be pure image, like I was saying, like almost the distance from the work itself to the idea would be almost nil. Like it would be the exact same thing. There would be no style you would have to filter it through. There would be no craft issues that you would have to work around, you know, as a viewer. Like, why does it look like this or why does it look like that? You would just see it. And to me, that was a way of being conceptually specific and conceptually coherent and precise. It was about precision. And I still kind of feel that way, but although I'm moving out of a kind of, I'm moving away from specificity, you know.
Well, we wanted to bring this new series of Tony's work to Milwaukee. Well, one, because Tony's work at a really high level, and we wanted to share, like, I guess, give Milwaukee people access to this work, some fresh new ideas. Part of our programming is showing artists that are from this region to kind of help channel certain ethos of art making from people in this region. But Tony's really a special artist for us because he's so recognized nationally and internationally that it's like a really unique situation where, you know, he's from here, went through his growing up and his education here, and now he's a really highly influential artist on a global level. So it's kind of a little bit of home and a little bit of kind of pulse of the international art market. So.
And New York has just so many strange resources that, like, really within blocks of your own place, you know, and that makes it really easy to do stuff. You know, like, for instance, this, I get these made, the sections of this are cast by a jeweler. So this is cast bronze, and the sections of this are about this long, and then I braze them together, and I have a jeweler on staff who does all the brazing and the welding. And I would not be able to find that person anywhere else in the world, I don't think. And I wouldn't be able to walk 10 blocks to the guy who makes the molds and does the casting. It just wouldn't happen. You know? This piece probably wouldn't exist without that guy. And I say that because if this came out, is almost an organic piece. I'm not really a studio artist. You know, I don't play around in the studio all that much. But this piece definitely came from us playing around in the studio. And without that guy around, I probably wouldn't have made this work. Probably not.
You know, I think he's the best quarterback in the league, and this is a really big night for him because he's from the Bay Area, and, you know, the 49ers passed him over early in his career, and now, you know, he's facing off against them in the semifinal playoff game. But that's not the question you asked me. You said, what are my first impressions of the show? And I couldn't dive into the Aaron Rodgers gag.